Good morning, everyone. Today is the Town Council regular meeting, Wednesday, August 4th, 2021, via GoToMeeting teleconference. We will begin the meeting with the pledge. Dennis, we'll go back to where we were before, so we'll have you lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Dennis. All right, we'll move on to item number 2, which is visitors. Are there any visitors on the call that would like to be recognized at this time? Any visitors that would like to be recognized?
I am here.
Brendan?
I'd love
Yeah.
to be recognized. My name is Brendan Saunders.
Thank you, Brendan. All right, anybody else? All right.
Amanda Stevens, I'm on the call.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Tom Schultz. I'm sitting in on the call today, but I won't be speaking. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Good. All right. And now we'll move on to item number 3, which is the approval of the minutes for the July 21, 2021 meeting. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Mary, do we need to go through, should we do a roll call now? Which would make things a little bit easier so that we just, on everything that we vote on, we'll do a roll call because it is going to get confusing.
Yes, please.
Okay, all right, so from here on out, we'll just do a roll call when we're voting on everything so we know exactly everybody's vote on it. It'll make everything a lot easier. All right, now we will move on to number 4, which is the appointments and reappointments. So we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 appointments for the Human Rights Committee, all of them for a term until July 1st, 2023. Brandon Saunders, Ava Creighton, Natalie Jones, Amanda Corcoran, and Caitlin Turner. Does anybody have any discussions on any of these appointments at this time? Dennis?
Yes, just a general discussion.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I am so happy to see so many people interested in this new committee that we have created. I'm just wondering if possibly, I'm just throwing this out as a suggestion, that we just table these appointments for about another 2 weeks, just to see if we get any other interested parties that are interested in this committee. Seems like this is going to be a very popular or very, how should I say, enthusiastic committee. And certainly we have some wonderful candidates at this particular moment for that position. And I'd just like to see if more people of the community give them the opportunity to get a chance to join this committee. I know that it's very easy for the 2 major parties to get the word out to their individuals because we have the mechanisms. I'm a little bit concerned about the people that don't have that access. The word sort of filters out very slowly to the community. It's only been out there now, I guess, the committee for about a month. And I would just like to see it, maybe wait another couple of weeks just to make sure that we have encompassed everyone that would express a desire to be on this committee. Again, it has nothing to do with the present candidates. I think we have a wonderful crop of candidates, but then again, you might get some more. Just a thought, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Tim?
Just to play devil's advocate, maybe if we did appoint these today, that people would see that there actually is a committee that has been formed, and maybe it would spur other people to now want to participate. That would be my thought, would be to get it going and let people know that there is a committee that has been approved by the town council.
Anybody else?
Is there anybody else there? Who
Anybody else have
is,
any thoughts?
Well, Chris, how many members are going to be on the Human Rights Commission?
7?
7. How many have we appointed to date?
I believe there's 2.
2.
2?
There's 5 openings.
Correct.
So this would
On the,
this
on
would
the,
fill the committee.
on the agenda, you have 4 this afternoon, this morning, right?
There's 5.
5.
And Tom is fair rent. You got
We have Brandon,
Brandon,
Avery, Natalie, and
Natalie,
Caitlin. So there's 5 listed here. We have 2 now. This would make it a full committee.
So
Okay.
why do we want to wait?
Tom?
Yeah, I just want to clarify, I was approved for the committee at the last town council meeting, as was Laurie Jaffe. So there are 5 openings and I think 5 on the agenda today for approval. And Brendan Saunders is here today. Of all those people on that list, he's the only one here today.
Mhm.
Thank you.
I agree with Tim. Let's get this thing going. See if we, with all due respect to Dennis, I'm in favor of voting him in and let's get this thing rolling. See what kind of attention it attracts.
Okay.
Then I would just like to make this other comment that hopefully we can probably go ahead later and make some alternates to this committee. Would that be permissible?
I believe there are at this point. I believe there's 2 alternates.
Not to this committee.
After this one, we didn't put alternates on this?
So far, no, we just,
Fine. Yeah, do you want to bring that up at a later meeting and see, I mean, again, this would put together the committee itself. There'd be full membership. They would be able to meet now. They'd have a quorum. So at that point, you can also see how it all plays out. And, like with any committee that happens, making sure that we stay on top of the fact of who's showing up to the meetings, who's attending the meetings, who's involved in the meetings, because you want people that are going to be on these committees to be involved and to be committed to them.
that's exactly, yep,
So-
that's a good point, Mr. Chairman. And also, as I said, if, for instance, in a week or 2, someone comes out of the woodwork that, for the lack of trying, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but someone might come in with some wonderful credentials, may have had prior experience on a commission like this, something of this nature. It'd be a way for us to get them involved with this committee by having alternate positions, and we could appoint them as an alternate.
Okay. Tom, did you have something?
Yeah, if I may speak, I don't know if it's regular for me to speak. So I would just say, it hasn't been as easy as one might think to find people who want to serve actually. And I put a lot of time into it. I was the chair of the Clinton Human Rights Initiative that really put this together. And I just want to say I've already had other referrals from people that I plan to speak to. I think there's a lot of work to be done by more than 7 people. I like what Dennis Donovan says about having other alternates as well, but I wanted to encourage people who I know are interested to, come to meetings, to be part of it. Obviously we still have to select our officers and form that. So, but that's my perspective on it. So, thank you.
Thanks, Tom. All right, anybody else? If we are good, then let's move forward. And if we can just do, I guess we'll just do one vote and appoint all 5 appointees to the committee. If everybody's good with that.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
make a motion
Okay.
that we go ahead and appoint Brendan Saunders, Ava Creighton, Natalie Jones, Amanda Corcoran, and Caitlin Turner to be members of the Human Rights Committee for a term until July 1st, 2023.
I'll second that.
Any other further discussion? Okay. Hearing none, Mary, you want to run the roll call?
Tim?
Yes.
Yep, you're in favor?
Yes.
a lot of
I think that's Eric's feedback.
Tim.
Eric, raise your hand. You in?
Yep, Dennis in favor?
Eric's in favor.
Donovan in favor.
Eric is. Mark? Christine?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. We good then?
Yes.
All right. So no opposed, no abstaining. We will move forward. And congratulations and thank you to everybody who's putting their time forth in order to serve on this committee. Next appointment would be Amanda Stevens, who is also on the call for a Human Services Advisory Board term until July 1st, 2023. First of all, any questions? Anybody? Any questions for Amanda? She happens to be on the call. If none, then we can look for a motion to appoint her to the Human Services Advisory Board.
Dennis Donovan, so moved.
A second? Any further discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, run it again.
Tim, you're in favor? Dennis?
Yes.
Okay.
Dennis Donovan, yes.
Okay. Mark?
Mark Richards, yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Christine?
My connection cut out. I didn't hear what the vote was for.
The motion was for Amanda Stevens for Human Services Advisory Board?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Okay.
No opposed, no abstaining, so thank you again, and thank you, Amanda, for coming forth to serve on this board.
Thank you, guys.
Next up is Tom Schultz for the Fairway Commission for a term of June 30, 2024. We have a motion to appoint.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor of this great roll call again? Here we go.
Tim,
Tim?
yes.
Dennis?
Dennis, yes.
Mark?
Mark, yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Christine?
Yes.
Thank you again. Thank you, Tom. All right, last one is Elliot Keating for the Historic District Commission for a full seat for a term until June 30, 2025. Do we have a motion to appoint?
I'll make that motion, Tim.
Second?
Mark?
Any other further discussion? All in favor?
Tim, yes.
Dennis?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Christine?
Yes.
Thank you again. All right. We will now move on to number 5, authorizing the resolution in support of a small harbor improvements project program, the SHIP grant. Everybody has a copy of the resolution that was presented to us. Carl, you want to just speak briefly about it?
Sure. So this is a grant that's been a long time in coming out of the Port Authority. There was a press release that you might have seen in the local media several months ago. Their contracting process had to be revised before we could actually get the funding. The grant is for $40,000, which is supposed to support updating the harbor management plan from the town. Harbor Commission is interested in moving forward. There's a shared in-kind service component coming from the town's contract planner in order to meet our local match requirements. And we have 18 months to finish the project.
Thank you, Carl. Anybody have any questions for Carl? No? All right, here and then we look for a motion to approve the resolution in support of a small harbor improvement projects program, the SHIP grant.
I'll
So
make that,
moved.
Tim.
Second, so we have a second. Is there any other further discussion? All in favor?
Tim, yes.
Dennis,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Christine.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. And now move on to item 6, which is the council discussion on future projects. Anything anybody would like to discuss at this time? All right. So hearing nothing, nobody, good. All right, we will then move on to chairman's report. Nothing to talk about at this point. So then we move on to 8, which is the town manager's report.
So you have my written report, a couple other things to add on to this report. And previously I made note of the town working with the University of Connecticut's Stormwater Core program, which is supposed to pair municipalities with landscape architecture and engineering students to work on identifying for municipalities opportunities to comply with our stormwater management mandate from the feds, as well as encourage low impact development design concepts. So they did their work. They evaluated town-owned properties with the thought that town-owned properties could move faster than working on private properties. Of all the properties they looked at, the highest potential for projects were at the Indian River Complex, Town Hall, and the Marina. The library was a secondary site, as well as Jewel Elementary School. They ran through a number of projects, including potential costs. Main focus is utilizing rain gardens in order to disconnect stormwater runoff and water that's coming from downspouts from hitting impervious surface and shooting into water courses that go into Long Island Sound. The largest impact is up at Indian River, and seem to get the greatest degree of their interest in terms of ideas and concepts, with Town Hall being a close second. All of these sites would be, if we selected one to move forward on implementation, there would be signage to educate the public on what low impact development looks like and what the solution is that we're employing at that site is and how it helps manage the environment and help with controlling runoff. As I noted previously, there is UConn has a grant where they can make monies available to towns to implement. So that Clinton would be in line for a $20,000 project to implement. Public Works will take a look at it because there's an opportunity to stretch those dollars if Public Works provides some of the additional work. So we can finalize and pick one of these projects for them to move on. The desire is to get something in the ground by the spring of next year, because the grant dollars that UConn has expires by the summer. It's getting a little late to try and get something in the ground for the fall, but you know, it's a simple, easy application. Maybe that's doable, but spring is probably the more realistic solution or timeline in order to get something in the ground. I gave you the letter from Kerma on the member equity distribution of almost $36,000. I'm sure Sue will make a note of it at her next finance director's report. But just so you can see the information that came in. I do have a press release. I'm not sure whether or not it will gain traction, but Kerma was nice enough to provide a press release to put basically the same information into the local media, or we can put it out on on the town's social media and the website. Beyond that, I've given you reports on the variety of meetings, including the COG. CCM does not meet during the off-season when the General Assembly is not in session. The Blight Ordinance Committee is continuing its work going forward. There's a draft that has gone off for legal review by the town attorney to get her input and comment before we have a draft to bring to the council, which should be at your next meeting, the 18th of August. First read. The council will also have to schedule public hearings because you've got two other ordinances that the council has approved as concepts, but in order to move it into implementation, we have to schedule public hearings for the ordinance for fire marshal fees and the other ordinance, which at present is escaping me. But you've got two in the hopper that you have to move forward.
Is it the blight ordinance?
No, the blight is number 3. So the council would be scheduling the first read of the blight ordinance on the 18th. And then I imagine you want to have a public hearing for all 3 ordinances that are pending. And that's it unless there's questions.
Carl, may I
Yes.
ask a question? I noticed the COG is asking for a set aside. So everyone gets money, each town, and they're asking for each town to put some money away for a regional project.
Right.
What? I mean, regional meaning it goes to another town?
No, not necessarily. So what that could look like can take a variety of concepts. I gave Sam Gold some information that had come in through OPM to look at hiring a regional grant administrator that could help all the towns with the admin responsibilities associated with managing the ARPA funds. There are also concepts using regional entities to be a front for municipalities where they don't have capacity. So if you're looking at business grants or loans, if the town is small enough and doesn't have the means to execute that with their own staff, you could, at a regional level, hire an entity to do that for you. So it's not like Clinton's dollars would go to another town. Clinton's dollars would still be dedicated to Clinton, but you'd be bringing on extra capacity that would help with administering distribution of grant funds. So right now, it's really just looking to make sure that there's an interest in doing a regional project. And then once they've figured out what the extent of the interest is, then it would start to shunt one way or the other towards what a project could look like based on what the level of interest is. It seems as if most municipalities are looking at doing something that supports grants or loans to the business community, and a similar path going for direct support to individuals that are facing financial difficulty because of COVID and the like. So some added capacity would certainly reduce the administrative burden for municipalities in order to do both their reporting to the state and feds, as well as administer putting the dollars out on the street.
Do you think this will lead to like a regional planning where the towns then would not have individual planning consultants?
That I'm not sure of. It's a topic for a larger discussion. I'm not sure it's an eligible ARPA expense in the long run.
Okay.
You're really looking at,
What the direction is.
yeah, I mean, it's really focused on just how the ARPA dollars can be used and what's an eligible expense on that front. The idea of a regional planner rather than individual consultants. Maybe that's something that can get some traction versus, but that's a larger conversation outside the parameters of the federal funds.
Thank you.
Is there a timeline call on when we would need to choose a site for the other project, whether we go to Indian River or whatever it may be? Is there a timeline that we should be bringing it to you to let you know which way we want to go?
So UConn wants to hear from us if we want to try and get something in the ground this fall, in the next couple of weeks. Todd is on vacation this week, but I did give him the report that I got from UConn students on Monday, so that we can sort of quickly move on where we think site selection makes the most sense. There is a logic to doing it up at Indian River, because you do have stormwater runoff, which is creating, it's eroding to a certain extent where it's creating a channel. And it also discharges into a pond. So there is the opportunity to have a larger environmental impact as well as divert a large volume of stormwater runoff at that site. And given the frequency by which people are up there for sporting events, there's a high educational opportunity also for the signage. The other projects are smaller. Not that they're not meritorious, it's just that they're smaller in terms of impact and scope. The benefit of having this report is that aside from the individual project that will be funded by the grant UConn has, the town can always pick up some of these and try and go forward. And if Public Works learns how to install rain gardens as part of this project, it's something that maybe we have some ability to do locally rather than contracting it out.
Carl, does the town, would the town be involved in the hiring process of a contractor? Or is it UConn?
UConn will be taking the lead. Obviously, they'd be looking for any references for firms that we've had prior experience with. But because they have the grant dollars, they're the individual who would do the procurement of contractors.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? All right, thank you, Carl. And we will move on to number 9, which is the Town Council Committee Liaison Reports. Does anybody have anything to report? Eric, nothing? Wow. All right, anybody else?
No,
All right, hearing none, then we will move on to a motion to adjourn.
so moved.
Second? Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? All right, thank you again, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Same to you, Mr. Chairman. Bye all.